All right, guys, we got one more word from FanDuel for today, and then we'll hop into the rest of our topics. But the NFL regular season is beginning to wrap up, and the postseason is underway, which means FanDuel is still the number one place to make all your bets and the number one sportsbook in America. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And the best part is the app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explorer tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and easiest way to find popular parlays, and so much more. So make sure you visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL.
Hey, Mike, before we do our next topic, real quickly, they asked me if I would do this, and I said I would. It should be of interest to some of our viewers. Tomorrow night is the big Cleveland Sports Awards Gala. It's the one night out of the year where you get folks from all of the sports teams to come together. It's at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. It's always a very fun evening. A lot of folks of note will be there. Stephen Vogt, we'll get to hear from him for the first time since his initial hiring. He's going to be here to present. Joel Bitonio will present. Anderson Varejao will present. Josh Cribbs will present. Chris Rose will present. And I will be presenting as well. Lifetime Achievement Awards, you guys know the deal. Play of the Year, Player of the Year, Athlete of the Year, all of that. It's always a really fun night. To me, the highlight of it is the silent auction that is live. And even if you're not there, you can participate online. Just go to clevelandsports.com. The items that they have if you're a big Cleveland sports fan and you're looking for that centerpiece piece of memorabilia, this is always the best place to nail that down. So
you got your outfit picked out?
I do not. No, I'm not a big planner on stuff like that.
You ain't got to wear no tuxedo?
I'll pick it out tomorrow. No, I don't typically wear a tux. Not even when I was the featured speaker did I wear a tux. I've seen guys wear tuxes to it. Very few.
Did you wear a tux at your wedding?
I did.
Okay. I wore a tux for a number of years. I was the host for every summer at Progressive Field. There'd be an event for Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah.
And a big ALS event, and I would be the MC, and I would wear a tux for that.
We'll broke the tux out. I probably won't break mine out tomorrow. I'd have to be in some kind of mood to do that.
For all you young guys out there, man, here's a swag, a little tip to get your get your little mojo going. Make sure that you turn it into a man, get you some attention. Suit Saturdays. Here's what you do: you put you a suit on, maybe a blazer. You go someplace. You hang out, you know what I'm saying? Maybe go sit down and have a meal by yourself, but make sure you keep your suit on. Get your suit. And watch how many people will treat you differently.
Yeah, well, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, who is this guy? It just shows that you plugged in even on the weekends.
Yeah.
So
just like the
guys,
body ink,
Yeah.
people will treat you differently.
Yeah.
Hairstyle, dress.
Yeah.
It's your calling card.
Yeah.
The first thing that they see about you.
So yesterday we saw the Ravens, actually Saturday, we saw the Ravens handily take care of the Houston Texans. Before we talk about the other playoff matchups, I want to talk about Baltimore versus Houston and how it made you reflect on what happened the previous Saturday when Houston beat the Browns. Do you feel better or worse about the Browns' loss against Houston in terms of who Houston was as a team and how the Browns performed, seeing how they competed against the one-seed Baltimore Ravens?
I don't feel any different, sorry. I don't feel any different because it's not the same set of circumstances. The Ravens were at home, and the Texans were having to play in cold weather as opposed to the Texans being at home. I mean, I did think, wow, this Ravens defense looks way better than the Browns defense. And I was like, I think the Ravens defense maybe is more legit than the Browns. But it didn't make me feel any better or worse about the Browns losing to the Texans.
What it made me do is I woke up a little bit. So first of all, I think one of the biggest factors in the playoffs is home field advantage. Mm-hmm. You watch those teams that get an opportunity to play in front of their crowds during home field advantage. They're a different team. You just get it adds so much more. And so that means during the regular season, the teams that keep the pedal to the metal, the teams that can consistently put those games up, they want home field advantage. And you can see that it's a really big advantage to get home field advantage. Second of all, too, I look at the Ravens and I look at the Texans. What I've started to look at is I'm looking at the roster, and the Browns, to a certain extent, are going to have to overdo it at certain places. because when you start getting down to these teams right here, you start to see the playmakers, and you start to see the guys that, everything is considered equal, all things being equal, but then you start to see the playmakers making plays, the guys that are special. And I think sometimes we get enamored with the fact that we believe that your quarterback, we lean on it, hey, your quarterback has to make people better. The quarterback, yes, that is true. But when you playing with another franchise quarterback, or you playing against the guys like the Ravens, or you playing against Patrick Mahomes, you got to have multiple people to give to your quarterback that you can consistently compete.
Gee, I don't disagree with your premise. However, I would argue that Amari Cooper is better than any wide receiver on the Ravens or the Chiefs. And Nick Chubb is better than any running back on the Ravens or the Chiefs.
Well, I will say that Nick Chubb was hurt. Now, Amari Cooper, I like Amari Cooper,
He's
right?
better than anybody that either of these teams have at wide receiver.
But what I say is, for terms of skill set, Amari Cooper is not a guy that's going to take the top off something. When you see Zay Flowers, when you see the speed that even Lamar Jackson is running at, when you still see,
that's Lamar. I can't.
Where did it likely come from, right? So you got Mark Andrews, and you had likely on that
I know,
roster.
but the point is, neither the Ravens nor the Chiefs are loaded at the skill positions. They're not loaded. There's better teams than those
they're
teams.
substantially better at quarterback. And that's the biggest position.
Yes,
but okay.
So that's why you got to get guys that make your quarterback. See, if you get better weapons, you get better materials.
Well, look how much better Lamar looks when they gave him Zay Flowers, and they gave him pieces.
But to be fair to Lamar, now Lamar had, everybody's killing teams that didn't sign, and team like the Falcons should. Now, ultimately, I think the Ravens would. People are killing teams like the Falcons for not offering Lamar a contract. I think the Ravens would have matched anything that he was offered, clearly, because they eventually offered him a lot of money. However, Lamar was coming off 2 kind of down seasons. He wasn't terrible, but they were a little down. But Lamar still won an MVP with nobody 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
But they did invest their first-round draft pick in a receiver, and he became their number 1 receiver this year.
I know, but that's fair. But you can't, the Ravens and Chiefs are not loaded with skill position talent. Their quarterbacks have been great.
They elevate other guys. You're saying we need other guys to elevate our quarterback.
So we thought
it's incumbent upon the quarterback to raise the level of play of those around him.
We thought Deshaun Watson was a quarterback that could raise the level of play.
And he hasn't yet.
And he hasn't to this point in Cleveland.
So as the GM, what you got to say is, we expected him to be able to elevate. If we got questions about that, now we have to elevate around.
Well, but here's the problem with that. Because we've got a beautiful experiment with the control. And the control is Joe Flacco. And with Joe Flacco, Amari Cooper and David Njoku looked as good as we've seen them.
They shine.
They've looked as good as we've seen them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Amari Cooper, to me, it's especially Njoku.
But I mean, Amari Cooper had a 260, set a franchise record in a single game.
I hear you, but I think Amari Cooper was still excellent with everybody.
He was, but he was at his best with Joe.
Really blew up with Joe.
Right, but I'm saying the control in this experiment is, because you're absolutely right. I've looked at the skills positions players that Kansas City had. I've said all year, they don't scare me. They don't scare me. They don't scare me. All of a sudden, when the playoffs come, we haven't even given enough flowers to what Patrick Mahomes has done historically. For reference, he is in his 6th season. He has already won his 12th playoff game.
13th.
13th now. To get to 12, it took Peyton Manning 17 years. What this guy is doing is simply rewriting what we've thought of that position.
6 straight AFC Championship.
He averages 2 wins per season in the playoffs. That's why he's been in the AFC Championship game for 6 straight years. It's mind-boggling what he's done. And this year, in particular, he's doing it a different way. Their defense is tremendous. They were rattling off some stats about that Kansas City defense during the game last night. And with each stat, I kept saying, oh, my God, nobody has scored 24. Oh, my God, nobody has given up, had 400 yards.
Their defense was good yesterday, but it wasn't amazing.
It's always good. But this year, they added that as a major tool.
Yes,
as a way to win
the ball
games.
better than
they are running the ball better. Pacheco
he still
helps.
has played great in
but
the playoffs.
Especially in the playoffs, boom, he goes up here. So I just want to see him. I want to see Deshaun Watson elevate the play of those around him.
But I've come to the conclusion that Deshaun Watson ain't him. Patrick Mahomes.
Well, no one's him.
Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of this era.
But we can still
He's
expect him to make his players better.
So yes, he can make the players better. So my thought process is this: in the AFC, if you want to go to the Super Bowl, this is the way it is. You got to beat 3 of these 4. You're gonna have to beat Burrow. You're gonna have to beat Lamar Jackson. You're gonna beat Josh Allen, or you're gonna have to beat Patrick Mahomes. Right?
And if Justin Herbert
Throw in Herbert.
Throw in Herbert. So
Yeah.
so that's the gauntlet you got to run. And if you believe,
And CJ Stroud.
and CJ Stroud just came about, if you believe that Deshaun Watson is not better than those guys, which I would argue he's not better than those 4 guys, then how can you win with him by guessing and hoping he elevates? No, you got to have talent that is top notch, and then he can elevate them to that level, and then now you can compete.
And that's a fair argument.
Yes.
But it's all based on the assumption that he is not in the top 5 in the AFC.
It's
Right.
pretty
He's
hard
not
to get.
right now.
It's pretty hard to get there.
Guys.
Josh Allen played lights out. I thought Josh Allen, the way he runs people over and you don't need a running back. Burrow is going to come back. We don't know what it is with that. And Lamar Jackson just had his best year. His best year that he's had in some years. Those guys all have elite things. Like Lamar Jackson,
And they're all what, 27?
they're young. So
Yeah.
So you.
None of them are going to age out in the next 3 years.
No.
So it's like Magic Bird and playing against Magic Bird, Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons and Michael Jordan. If you're the Cavs, hey, I know Mark Price is pretty good. He ain't better than Isaiah Thomas. Hey, I know Larry Nance and those guys. He ain't Scottie Pippen. And you consistently got to go through all them teams just to get to the championship. And it's like, yes, that was a good squad, but there's levels to it. And Mahomes shows you its levels.
The Browns have to, especially the Chiefs. Now, Lamar may be a different story. He's still got a lot to prove in the playoffs. Certainly.
He does.
But, this was supposed to be the down year for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I want to cut you off.
Yeah,
We'll get
sorry.
to the Chiefs in 1 sec, but real quick, better, worse? You said indifferent.
I'll give my answer. I'm more inclined to go along with him. I certainly don't feel better. I cannot say that, wow, Houston really gave Baltimore a struggle, and now I don't feel so bad. So I definitely don't feel better. If anything, I feel slightly worse. But to Bull's point, would they have 7 pre-snap penalties with that crowd in Baltimore?
They imploded.
Your comment of home field advantage being the biggest single advantage a team can have in a playoff game, with the exception of Patrick Mahomes, the road teams are all going home. And Patrick Mahomes is him. He's that special guy. He's good enough to overcome a crazy home field advantage. So for me, I don't want to sit here and say, oh boy, now I'm really troubled because they boat raced Houston. Here's where I know this team can be. We beat Baltimore in Baltimore this year in a game that was very important to Baltimore. It's not like they were playing backups or it didn't matter. We beat them with our guy, Deshaun Watson.
Yes, we're close.
So it can be done. What troubles me the most, especially after seeing the way these playoffs have played out, you're likely not going to have home field advantage in the playoffs. And what was our Achilles heel this year? Of all items this year, it was road games.
Outside of the Ravens game.
And the defense.
Outside of the Ravens
It wasn't just offense, it was the defense.
It was the defense. So for me, when you stack up the evidence like this, Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and this gauntlet of AFC quarterbacks are young and they're not going anywhere, with the fact that this team as constituted is nowhere near a playoff team when they're on the road, that's troubling because they're likely going to have to find a way to be good on the road.
That's going to have to change
3
next year.
times? And if you don't got to 3 times, you got
It's hard. Teams have done it,
But you know what they have to do? Here's what they have to do, or they're always going to be on the road in the playoffs. They have to beat not one of, but both.
Yeah, they got to go 4-0.
Allen and Jackson in the regular season. Yep. They've got to win the division to secure a 1 home playoff game.
Yes.
And that is a steep mountain to climb.